Welcome to the English Matura with JB podcast. I'm your host, JB, and joining me today is Alice. Here's an intriguing fact for you. An invention that brings joy to millions daily was actually discovered by accident. It all started with a Mexican general, known for his attack on the Alamo, who aimed to revolutionize the rubber industry. Let's dive into the fascinating story of how chewing gum truly began.
Well, that's quite the unexpected historical connection. How did a military leader end up influencing what we chew today?
So here's the fascinating part. After General Antonio Lopez Santa Anna was captured following the Battle of the Alamo in 1836, he made this peculiar detour to New York City instead of heading straight back to Mexico, and he brought with him something called chicle, basically tree sap from Mexican jungles.
But why would a general be carrying around tree sap? That seems rather unusual for a military leader.
Well, Santa Anna had this grand vision that chicle could replace rubber, which was a hugely valuable commodity at the time. He connected with this inventor named Thomas Adams, who spent weeks trying to transform the chicle into synthetic rubber, but every single experiment failed.
Oh no, so what happened to all that chicle they had stockpiled?
That's where it gets interesting. One day, Adams noticed a young girl buying paraffin wax to chew, which was actually pretty common back then. It reminded him of how he'd seen Santa Anna casually chewing bits of chicle during their meetings.
So that observation led to the light bulb moment for modern chewing gum.
Exactly. Adams made several hundred chicle balls and convinced a local store owner to sell them. They flew off the shelves so fast that the owner immediately demanded more. By 1888, Adams was producing 250,000 pieces of gum per day.
That's incredible growth in such a short time. The demand must have been enormous.
And speaking of growth, one of the early success stories was this popcorn vendor named William White, who got into the gum business. He became so wealthy from selling gum that he actually ended up getting elected to Congress.
Well, that's quite the career trajectory. From street vendor to congressman thanks to gum. Did success change him?
You could say that. There's this amazing story about White meeting King Edward VII in England. He actually had the audacity to present the king with a box of gum and tried to get him to chew it right there in front of everyone at court.
Oh my, how did the king respond to such an, unusual request?
He was diplomatic about it, accepted the gift, but politely declined to demonstrate its use. But you know what's really fascinating? The early days of gum were filled with these wild rumors and claims about its effects.
Like what kind of claims? Were they positive or negative?
Both. Some people claimed that swallowing gum would make your intestines stick together and cause death. But then you had this doctor telling the American Medical Association that champion boxer Jack Dempsey's jaw became so strong from chewing gum that his opponent broke his thumb punching it.
That's quite the range of claims, from deadly danger to superhuman strength. Though I have to admit, my jaw does get tired after chewing gum for too long.
You know what's interesting? The military actually recognized gum's benefits during World War II. They included it in soldiers' ration kits because they found it helped reduce stress and maintain focus during long missions.
So what happened to the original chicle? Do modern gums still use it?
Most gum companies switched to synthetic materials by the mid-20th century because sapodilla trees, which produce chicle, can only be tapped every few years. The growing demand made natural chicle unsustainable as the sole ingredient.
That's kind of sad that we lost that connection to the natural product. Do you think Santa Anna ever realized what his failed rubber replacement would become?
Well, here's an interesting statistic. Today's global gum market is worth over $30 billion annually. I'd say that's quite a legacy for a failed rubber experiment. And to think it all started because one inventor happened to see a little girl buying wax to chew on, the same day he was wondering what to do with all that leftover chicle.
That really shows how some of the most significant innovations come from the most unexpected places, doesn't it?
Absolutely right. And you know what's even more fascinating? This accidental invention has actually shaped our language and culture. I mean, we still use that phrase about someone not being able to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Well, considering how many things Santa Anna juggled in his career, military campaigns, political leadership, and amateur inventor, I'd say he definitely could walk and chew gum at the same time.
You know, that's the perfect way to wrap this up. Sometimes the most lasting impacts we make aren't the ones we intended. They're the happy accidents that come from trying something completely different. The next time you unwrap a piece of gum, take a moment to appreciate the 9,000 years of history it represents. From ancient birch bark tar to NASA's innovative space gum, this resilient treat has endured wars, bans, and even inspired bubblegum pop culture. That's all for today. Until next time, stay curious. Namaste.